What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be talking about the top 5 budget upgrades you can make to your rifle. So let's get right into this video. So like I said before the video rolled, we're going to be talking about the top 5 budget upgrades you can make to your rifle. So in the past I've made tons of videos on upgrades you can do to improve accuracy, upgrades here, upgrades there, top upgrades you should just have on your rifle, all kinds of stuff. But today I'm going to be getting into specifics. We're going to be thinking budget minded, what you want to do, and how you can do it. Okay, so we're going to start off. I have a few rifles here that I'm just going to be picking up. They're set on the floor. I guess I can kind of rotate them up. I've got my Grendel here, which has some parts on it that I'm going to be talking about. I have my 5.56, my PSA, one of my favorites, right here that has some parts on it I'm going to be talking about. So let's get right into this video. I would like to say, if you guys find this video informative or if you find it somewhat useful, please go hit the like and subscribe button. It would mean an awful lot to me. Okay, so like I said before, we're going to be keeping everything budget. I'm going to say probably under $100 for every single one of these accessories. For the most part, under $50 for every single one of these accessories. And these are stuff you can just make on your rifle. They're really easy changes that are not super involved. And they improve your rifle ever so slightly. Okay, so the first one is definitely the stock. My favorite stock of all time is the Magpul CTR stock. Okay, very good stock, locks in place. You have a QD attachment, adjustable. I'm a big fan of the Magpul stuff, and it's super budget. I think it's like $50 to $60 depending on how you catch it, and it's relatively inexpensive in terms of stocks. They make a lot more expensive ones, and if you don't feel like you need the QD spot or the ability to lock in place, they do make one very similar to it that's like $30-some. So you can really go budget with it and get a half decent stock for almost nothing. Another good one is the B5 Systems stock. I'm trying to think of it off the top of my head. I just refer to it as the B5. It's a super common stock, and it's pretty budget. It's about $50. Good stock, good looking stock, has a good aesthetic to it, and it's a nice thing to shoot. Okay, next thing, and probably most people will tell you this, is you can upgrade your grips for like nothing. You can switch out your old A2 stuff and it is super inexpensive. Okay, you can get the Magpul MOE Plus, which is my go-to grip. It's rubberized. It's here on this, actually it's on both PSAs. So I mean, I like it for like $20. Okay, so you can get, if you're not into the CTR, you can get like the lesser one, which is like $30, and then you have $20 in a new grip, $30 in a pretty sweet looking stock, and you've pretty much changed a lot of your rifle already. I mean, changing the furniture is what most people do, and that's a pretty good option. Okay, next thing, and this is one that is in the Grendel that I have here, is JP Enterprises trigger springs. Okay, so a lot of people say you need to swap out the trigger in your rifles, and I agree that a nice trigger is very beneficial if you are shooting. Pretty much if you're doing anything, a good trigger is good to have. Well, triggers are expensive, so I mean, you're probably sitting at like pretty much $80 onward for a half decent trigger. I know the Geislys are stupid expensive, sitting at $200 and some. They're good triggers, but the money has got to be there. So me, the budget minded person I am, I did a ton of research into it, and I found JP Enterprise has a trigger spring kit that will lower the pull of your trigger to about 4.5 pounds. And then if you opt to buy your own trigger, or their trigger and their trigger springs, it can lower it even more. So you can buy their trigger springs for about 10 bucks. It lowers it to 4.5. You can polish your trigger, and that might take a little bit off of it as well. And polishing your trigger is free, so something to consider, you know. And then the next thing, and we're talking about stuff that's on this rifle here, is muzzle brakes. So muzzle brakes. So muzzle brakes are fairly expensive. They're pretty pricey, especially if you're looking on like Primary Arms or Optics Planet. A decent looking muzzle brake or flash hider can be everywhere between 50 and 100 bucks, which I don't understand. That's a little too pricey for me, but it is what it is. So what I do, trying to save every penny I can, I go to eBay, and machine shops will sell muzzle brakes on eBay for pretty much half the price. So this muzzle brake right here, it's marketed on eBay as like a Ruger clone, I guess, for the Ruger Predator, but it's not. I've seen the Predator comps and muzzle brakes. It's nowhere near anything like it. But it is a nice muzzle brake, and it's only 20 bucks. So for 20 bucks, you can have a fairly decent muzzle brake. It really changes how your rifle shoots, especially if you have a rifle that has a little bit more recoil. Maybe you're shooting 308, 6.5 Creedmoor, 6.5 Grendel even has a little bit of recoil, a little bit more than the 5.56, but it completely takes it away. So it's something to consider, and it's not that expensive, like 20 some bucks, right? So then the last thing that's a fairly budget-minded upgrade that you can do to your rifle is swap out the handguard. So say you buy a rifle that doesn't already have a handguard. I'm going to put this one away. Say you buy a rifle that doesn't already have a handguard. You can buy handguards for like 30, 40 bucks. Thinking off the top of my head, Magpul's, their plastic one, I think it's MOE. I'm not sure. I've never had one. I've used one. Stephanie's father has one. But I don't personally own one. They're drop-in, so if you have one with a Delta ring, you can just put it on. You can take off your heat shield, put on the Magpul one, and it goes on lickety-split. Super easy, and they're super affordable. They're like 30, 40 bucks, like I said. And if you want to just put on a rail itself, you can find some pretty decent deals on rails. I know Primary Arms right now, there's a Radical rail for 60 bucks, free float M-lock. I think it was 12 inches, so that's not bad. This one's 13, and I think it does just fine. Actually, it's 13.5 to be completely honest, but it's still a fairly good rail, and a fairly nice rail for inexpensive. I like the Radical rails. I have one. I have a Radical Firearms 223 Wild, and it's a pretty nice rail. But that's on the more expensive side, so they go from 60 to like 120 if you're wanting to get up in the pricier range. I know we were keeping it pretty budget. So if we're going to compile how much we've spent on some pretty inexpensive upgrades to your brand new rifle, we are sitting at about 30 to 40 bucks for a stock. $20 for a grip puts us at 60. Another $20 for a muzzle brake is putting us right at 80. $10 for some trigger springs and a little polishing to get your trigger up to speed that puts us at 70 bucks, and then another 30 to 40 in a rail, or another 50 to 100 if you want to go free float. You're about $100 to $150 in completely swapping out everything on your rifle, or for the most part everything on your rifle, and having you a pretty decent rifle. So you can do it on a budget. It's obviously not like going out and buying the most expensive stuff, but when you ball on the budget, there are ways you can get some quality stuff, and I feel like what I've told you is pretty decent equipment. I've never had a problem with eBay brakes, but do your research on it. Make sure you're getting something from a machine shop. Make sure they have good reviews. Make sure they're not ripping people off. And just do your research on all of it. Make sure it's what you want. Make sure you're getting what you want for your rifles, and make sure that you're getting the quality that you want, because that's what's most important. As long as you're comfortable shooting it and it is exactly how you want it. That is what's important. Okay. So I think that about does it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If it was your first time to the channel, I would recommend that you guys hit the like and subscribe button. I do videos like this all the time. Comes out 3 times a week. And I really enjoy doing it. I really appreciate everybody for watching. Shameless plug, top link in the description, some pretty sweet merch. I would recommend go checking out the hoodie. Personal favorite of mine. It's lightweight. It's like a lightweight hoodie. Something you'd work out in. So go check that out. And I think that about does it, guys. I appreciate every single one of you guys for watching. As always, take someone outdoors. I will see y'all next time.